They say the devil works hard, but in my case, my boss worked harder. I was just an average guy. 34, divorced, living in a studio apartment above a failing donut shop that somehow smelled like garlic at night. I had a steady job at rethink Solutions, an IT consulting firm that pretended to be Google but operated more like a high school cafeteria. You know, clicks, gossip, favoritism, and the one person nobody dared cross, Steve Barrows, my boss. A man with the face of a weary bulldog and the temper of a toddler denied candy. Steve had one rule, unspoken, but religiously followed: work, always. Vacations were optional. Sick days were career limiting. And Sundays were his personal productivity playground. That's where I drew the line. See, when my dad died 3 years ago, I made a promise. Every Sunday, no matter what, I'd visit Mom. We'd drink black coffee, watch old westerns, and pretend the world was slower than it really was. It was my therapy, my ritual, my armor. But that didn't fit into Steve's master plan for corporate domination. So, one Friday afternoon, he summoned me into the conference room, the one with the glass walls, just so everyone could witness your shame. "Hey, Ben," he said, with a wolf's grin. "We need you in on Sunday. Big client, big expectations." I looked him straight in the eyes and said the thing you should never say to a man like Steve. No. There was a pause so heavy it made the HVAC system sound like a freight train. He blinked, smiled, tilted his head like I was a dog refusing to sit. "Sorry?" he asked, voice sugar-coated with condescension. I said no. Sundays are off limits for me. Personal reasons. He leaned back in his chair, laced his fingers together like a villain in a B-grade movie, and chuckled. "Well then," he said, standing, "let's see how personal unemployment feels." The glass walls didn't hide much. The entire floor saw me walk out with a face redder than a stop sign. Some looked away. Others smirked. One intern whispered, "Dead man walking." But I wasn't fired. No. Steve was too smart for that. He wanted to break me. The following Monday, my projects were reassigned. Tuesday, my desk was moved to the corner next to the men's room. Wednesday, I was accidentally removed from the company Slack channel. By Friday, my emails stopped being answered altogether. It was like I didn't exist. But oh, I existed. And I was watching. Every passive-aggressive slight, every forced silence, every skipped invitation to meetings I had once led. I documented it all, time-stamped, recorded, cataloged. Not because I was petty. No, I was patient. Steve thought he was training me. But I wasn't a dog. I was a snake. Coiled, cold, waiting. And the Sunday after he humiliated me, I sat with Mom, like I always did. We watched the good, the bad, and the ugly. And I smiled, because I was finally ready to be ugly. For a man who wanted me invisible, Steve sure spent a lot of time watching me. He'd stroll past my desk near the men's room like he just happened to be stretching his legs. He'd accidentally bump into me in the break room and offer fake smiles like someone filming a corporate training video. And every time he'd say it, the same line. "You sure you don't want to work Sundays, Ben? Might help your career trajectory." Career trajectory. Funny, coming from a man whose biggest accomplishment was winning second place in a chili cook-off back in 2009. But I kept smiling, and I kept waiting. Because Steve wasn't just a bad boss. He was messy. And messy men don't clean up after themselves, especially not digital footprints. Over the next few weeks, I did what any IT guy with a grudge and a good memory would do. I watched, not just Steve, but the entire system. See, Ridgetech had this brilliant but outdated internal portal. A digital fossil. Everyone used it. Everyone trusted it. They uploaded documents, client files, time cards, even personal notes. The security was, let's call it adorable. One night, around 2 a.m., while Steve was likely snoring into his third scotch, I logged in. I wasn't hacking. I didn't need to. I had admin clearance. He never revoked it, and that's when I found it. Buried under layers of poorly labeled folders was a goldmine, a PDF titled Weekend Strategy, subfolders labeled Client Pitches, Not Final, and Internal Budget, Do Not Share, Curiosity, Nope, Revenge. Inside were spreadsheets showing misallocated funds, client invoices that didn't match logged hours, emails between Steve and our largest client, Westmark and Gray, where he overpromised deliverables and backdated approvals. And the best part, he signed everything with his initials, like a kid writing his name on stolen candy. Now, I'm not a whistleblower by nature. I don't enjoy drama. I take my coffee black and my chaos quiet. But I do enjoy irony. And nothing felt more poetic than burning Steve down with the same emails he weaponized against me. Still, I waited. Because revenge isn't a microwave meal. It's a slow roast. While Steve continued his passive-aggressive campaign, forgetting to CC me, making comments in meetings like, Ben's taking a spiritual sabbatical from productivity, I built my little fire. I printed. I saved. I backed up to 2 flash drives. One I stored at my mom's. The other I carried with me, always. Then came the final spark, an email. From HR. Subject line. Performance concerns. Follow-up required. Steve was making his move. Trying to build a case. The email was vague but loaded. Words like misalignment, team dynamics, and productivity review. I could practically hear his smug chuckle from 3 floors up. That's when I knew. It was time. I scheduled a meeting with HR, 10 a.m. Friday, and I CC'd Steve. He replied immediately. Looking forward to it. A smiley face, from a man who thought he won. Friday arrived. I wore a navy blue suit, the one I bought for my cousin's wedding. The one I never wore because he dumped the bride the night before. It still smelled like regret. Steve was already there, arms crossed, pretending to be relaxed. HR's rep, Melissa, looked tense. She'd dealt with Steve before. She hated messes. I sat down, plugged in my flash drive, clicked play. A short video, screen recording, showed Steve's emails, the spreadsheets, the budgets. I let the silence drag. Then I said 5 words. Would you like the backup? Melissa didn't. Blink. Steve shifted in his chair, suddenly pale. I don't know what this is, he said, but his voice cracked. I smiled. Sure you don't. HR ended the meeting early. By Monday, Steve was suspended. By Wednesday, he was gone. No party, no farewell. Email. Just an empty office and the faint scent of desperation. And me? I got a new desk, next to a window, 2 floors up. They even asked if I wanted a promotion. I said I'd think about it. After all, Sunday was coming. You'd think after taking down Steve Barrows, office tyrant, Sunday sadist, and chili enthusiast, I'd walk into work like some kind of victorious war hero. But no, I walked in like it was Tuesday. Because it was Tuesday, and because revenge, when done right, doesn't need applause. It just needs results, and oh, the results were delicious. Steve's name vanished from the employee directory overnight. One minute he was Senior Director of Strategic Initiatives, whatever that meant, and the next he was a whisper. In the break room, HR never gave details. Legal handled it. All they told the staff was a personnel change. But the interns knew. Interns always know. Word spread fast. Steve got canned. Ben exposed the emails. I heard he fled to Mexico. I never confirmed or denied anything. I just sipped my coffee, black, no sugar, and answered emails from my actual desk, now complete with a working chair, a clean monitor, and a view of the skyline. And then came the best part. Ridgetech's founder, the elusive, barely seen in the wild CEO, called me. He wanted to thank me for my professionalism under pressure, said I had the company's best interest at heart, asked if I'd consider stepping into Steve's role. I nearly choked on my third donut. Me, the guy who was one HR email away from getting ghosted 6 weeks ago. I'll need to think about it, I said calmly. And I did think about it. For 2 whole minutes. Then I sent an email. Subject line. New title suggestion. Sunday Survivor, and just like that, I was promoted. But this isn't one of those stories where I become the villain. I just took down. Oh no, I had other plans. I changed policies. No more mandatory weekends. No more accidental desk relocations. No more meetings that could have been emails. I let the interns pitch ideas. I took my team out for lunch, on the company card. Obviously. And every Friday at 4 p.m. I started a new tradition. Log out hour. That's right. Mandatory disconnection. Laptops off. Phones down. Work stopped. Because no one should have to choose between their mom and their job. Between Sunday, peace, and Monday survival. But I wasn't done. Remember the client. Westmark and Gray, the one Steve had lied to, overpromised, and underdelivered for. Yeah, they were furious when they found out. I reached out, set up a meeting, showed them the real numbers, the truth. They loved it. They signed a bigger contract. With me, they even sent cookies. And Steve? Well, a few weeks later I saw him, at the local gym, wearing a branded polo from some startup I'd never heard of. He looked smaller. Not physically. Just deflated. We locked eyes near the water fountain. He opened his mouth like he was going to say something. Maybe apologize. Maybe blame me. I beat him to it. Hey, Steve, I said. You working Sundays? He flinched. Didn't respond. Just walked away. I stood there sipping water from a cracked fountain and smiled. Because I knew something he didn't. Revenge doesn't always come with fireworks.